What's up guys, Teddy Baldassarre here, and in this video, despite me looking like I'm about to play some t-ball, we're going to be talking about some underrated Seiko watches. Alright guys, so let's not waste any time and start off our list with a more obscure model I don't see mentioned very frequently, which is the Seiko SRP B 57, 59, and 61. So these watches are members of the Seiko Prospect Sky series, and I think they're really solid tool watches that you don't have to really worry about and kind of hitting around and being rough with. And when looking at these from a glance, they give off a lot of Navitimer, Hamilton, and just kind of an IWC vibe, which is their overall aesthetic. But when we're looking at these watches, we have a price of $250 to $400, case size of 44.7 millimeters, so going to be large on the wrist, case thickness 13 millimeters, powered by a Seiko caliber 4R35, water resistance of 100 meters, and has a hardlex crystal. So I have Seiko 4R35, hand winding and hacking capabilities, and a watch I think will be very suitable for everyday wear for those that like a tool watch aesthetic. So next up we have a watch from Seiko, their Recraft series. I could probably do an entire video on that particular whole collection, which I think is really cool. And this particular model I think is certainly a little bit more playful than other designs that make up these references that attach to this particular model, but I wanted to have some fun here. And that is the Seiko SSC667. So the Seiko Recraft series is a model of watches underneath Seiko that really aim to key in on some typical reminiscent designs from the brand. And this one I think is a great representation of that, giving off a ton of 70s vibes with this, along with many of the other Recraft models that you'll see. This one coming in with a really cool blue dial. This particular model coming in with a price of $350, case size of 43.5 millimeters, case thickness of 12.5 millimeters, powered by a solar Seiko caliber B175, water resistance of 100 meters, and has a hardlex crystal. So a couple things I like about this watch. For one, the design I think looks really cool. There's also different models, different references that are associated with this particular design. So if you want something that's maybe a little bit less out there, you can certainly do that as well. And I also like the solar movement inside of here because I think when you're thinking about this price tier, it's probably the best way to go. It's no nonsense, will work with that long power reserve. One thing I will say about this, they try so hard to have this be vintage inspired in so many ways, but the overall case size I think is definitely blown out a little bit larger than what I would like to see. I'd love to see smaller variations available, but whatever, I'm probably speaking from the 6¼ inch wrist side of myself rather than thinking about a lot of people that watch the content and have larger wrists. And for our next watch here, we have the Seiko SARB001. And I'm a big fan of the SARB line overall. I think great value, very overlooked in terms of what people usually think of when they think of Seiko watches for everyday use. I've done an entire review on the SARB045, a watch that I own, really love it. If you have not seen that review, I will link to it down below. But this is one right here that I think falls in an even more affordable price tier than that watch and has a lot of the same specs. So this watch here comes in with $400 to $500 price point. Case size we're looking at 39.2, so a little bit larger than the SARB lines, so the SARB033 and the 035. Case thickness, looking at 12 millimeters. Movement is an automatic Seiko 6R15, so that's 50-hour power reserve there. That Sprawn hairspring, so I think an improved movement from a lot of the 4R35s that you'll find with watches in this range. Water resistance of 100 meters and has a sapphire crystal. This watch is just very simple, has that hardlex crystal case back as well. I like the pipe hand style as well with the dial. And there's just a lot to like about this watch. It doesn't do anything really more than it has to, but I think that really is what intrigues me the most about these. It's going to allow it to be used on an everyday occasion, and I think these are watches that are so overlooked in terms of people that are considering a Seiko watch for these everyday use scenarios. Okay, so now I think I've mentioned these in back-to-back videos, so apologies for that, but I think it's for a good reason, because these are really watches that I would love to see mentioned more. I think the Seiko Turtle line as a whole are my favorite divers from Seiko overall. The problem with a lot of them, way too big for me. So that was always the issue. But these Seiko Mini Turtles, I think, are the perfect happy medium for those that have smaller wrists and like these types of designs. So we have three different references, the SRPC 37J1, 39J1, and 41J1. So price range here, $340 to $430. Case size of 42.3 millimeters, case thickness of 13 millimeters, movement is a Seiko caliber 4R35, water resistance of 200 meters, and has a hardlex crystal. So these watches are JDM watches, so you're not gonna have the same availability when it comes to finding them in different parts of the world, but you certainly still can find them. A couple other reasons why I love this watch. For one, is just the actual sizing of it. 42.3 lug to lug distance. That's fantastic. It's gonna wear much smaller and compact, but still have presence to it. In addition, I love the different dial colors, and you're also getting that 4R35 movement with that ISO certification, bringing pretty much a lot to the table that I think from a design standpoint looks way better than the SKX. Maybe not the same in terms of its overall prominence and being so beloved, but for me, this is what I would go for if I was looking for an entry-level Seiko diver. Alright guys, so now we have another watch from Seiko, and I know a few of you guys play games and take a shot every single time I say the word Seiko, so good luck so far in this video. We have more coming. But this is a model that was released, a few models that were released at the end of last year, marking the Street Series from the Prospects line from Seiko. And the references are the Seiko SN E5, 33, 37, and 39. So these come in 3 different dial variations. These particular ones we're looking at, they come with an ISO certification 6425, and they have that really street casual-like look, which is very different compared to a lot of the Seiko watch that you'll find. We're looking at a price of $450, case size of 47 millimeters, so these are rather large. Case thickness 12.4, Seiko caliber V157 in terms of the movement, water resistance of 200 meters, and has a Hardlex crystal. And these watches are going to come with that 10-month power reserve, and also I think do fit the mold in terms of what somebody that has that streetwear look might be looking for. Certainly I think a little bit too big, but catching attention, that's really what that kind of style all is about. Okay, so now for our next watch. It's an interesting one, and if you guys have been watching the channel for some time, you know that I'm more of a mechanical watch guy than I am a quartz watch guy. It's a matter of preference. If we're talking about functionality, quartz makes a ton of sense for the right person. For me, I just like the overall romantic feel of having something ticking and having that sweeping second hand on my wrist. But this watch, I think, is certainly a good exception for this rule here today. And this watch is the Seiko Dolce SACM 171. So this watch is interesting for a few reasons. One is the size, and then 2, most importantly, is the movement. So let's look at the price first. We'll look at $450, case size of 33.5 millimeters, thickness 5.3 millimeters, movement is a quartz Seiko 8J41. I'll get more on that in a moment because I think it's very important here. Water resistance of 30 meters, and has a sapphire crystal. So this particular movement here, the caliber 8J41, promises a deviation of plus or minus 10 seconds per year. In fact, this movement was formerly used in the Grand Seiko range. And with this movement, as well as that size, I mean, probably would like it to be a little bit bigger, but it is catering to a part of the market, especially for more Seiko fanatics, that I don't think has been answered for some time. Okay guys, so now for our next watch, an interesting one. It's a Kinetic watch from Seiko with the Seiko Kinetic Perpetual SNP091. So this watch comes in with a price of $450 to $550, case size of 41 millimeters, case thickness we're looking at 12.2 millimeters, movement is a Seiko caliber 7D56, water resistance of 100 meters, and has a sapphire crystal. So this particular caliber, why I think it's interesting, it's the perfect marriage between a quartz and a mechanical movement, where the caliber takes the same accuracy of the quartz, but with the same time requires your physical movement with kinetic energy to power the watch. It is rather a funky design, but having the opportunity to present a Kinetic watch on the list here today was something I couldn't pass up. And now for the last watch on our list, with the Seiko SARB005. And this watch is informally referred to as the Baby Grand Seiko Snowflake. And that's for a couple reasons. One, for this particular watch, you are getting the same type of textured dial that comes with the Grand Seiko Snowflake models, and it does look absolutely fantastic. This watch also comes in with a titanium case and has great build quality. This watch, as well as many of the other SARK's line, the SARK 033 and the 035, are also worthy of mentioning. My brother actually owns the SARK 033, which I have a lot of experience with now and kind of being able to handle it a little bit more. But this particular watch, the SARK 055, comes in with a price of $800 to around $1,000, case size of 40.8 millimeters, case thickness of 11 millimeters, movement is a Seiko caliber 6R15, water resistance of 100 meters, and has a sapphire crystal. And you can certainly make the argument, is this watch actually worth it, considering you're kind of on your way to getting into Grand Seiko territory. But still, if you're somebody that's committed on getting that Grand Seiko Snowflake style and doesn't have thousands of dollars to spend, this is one that I think you'll have on your short list of ones to consider. So guys, you want me to continue this series? You like this video? I probably could do another part of this series. There's just so many Seiko watches. Please give a video a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. In addition, head over to Baldassarre.com and have all your dreams come true. Also, go to the link in the description down below to go to Bob's Watches, a partner of the channel and one of the largest online retailers for watches. And any purchase using that link helps support what we're doing here today. And you also get an iconic piece as well at the end of the day. And then finally, if you want to join our watch giveaway, I'm going to be giving a Stova Flieger. And this is going to be probably one of the bigger giveaways that I've done so far on the channel. You want to fill out that giveaway. If you've done it once, you're good to go. Then also be sure to follow me on Instagram to be eligible to win. So guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.